Hey everyone, so just kind of getting set up. I do apologize for the gross resolution, kind of all I got to work with at the moment, but just more or less making sure that things look pretty, making sure that nothing looks wonkles, because, life. All right, I think we're cool. I think we're good. And if you can't hear me, please absolutely say something because, like I said, right now we're just more or less trying to get things looking pretty. All right. I think this is pretty much as good as it's going to look. So, again, I do apologize for the resolution, but wanted to let you guys know as I get this into the comments real quick. If anyone would like a reading tonight, I am offering single card for $5. And I'm also offering 10-minute readings for 15 minutes tonight. Directions for how to get into the queue are in the description and also into your comments. So definitely make sure that you take a peek there if you would like to get a reading tonight. Patreon members, I did put your code into the feed over yonder in Patreon. Please make sure so I can make sure that you get your discount, that you put the code in the Cash App or Venmo notes, depending on which one you used. And I do also plan on offering a few collective readings tonight if we stay kind of slow. So, in case you're swinging around for that as well, I got you. And I do apologize, but I am not offering free cards tonight. But if one of our lives ends up being on one of my Sabbats or on another special holiday, kids' birthdays, those do happen, I am more than likely going to be offered free cards on those nights, but for the first 15 minutes. So things to think about. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please take a second to do so now because Monday through Saturday, I offer daily readings. And every evening, I also offer a few lessons on how to get better in touch with yourself, treat yourself a little nicer, connect better with the people around you. And for the month of February, I'm actually working on healthy romantic relationships and working on self love. But I think we've got everything pretty much set up, like I said. So hopefully things don't flurb. Yes, flurb is a word. Don't judge. But for tonight, I'll be offering two options. One is tarot readings because, hey, we all love the tarot decks. They give you great advice in so little time, too. But I'm also offering for those of you that are either new to card readings or need something a little easier and a little more upbeat. I get it. I have my Oracle deck, which is actually a combination of Moonology and Shapeshifter. So funny story, I actually combined them by sheer accident one time, decided to give it a shot. They work beautifully. And I know it's breaking the rules, but you got to admit, sometimes rules are meant to be broken. Combining two Oracle decks that happen to work great together? Yes. All right, so I guess while we're waiting on bodies, let's do a collective reading, yeah? We recently had a full moon. Ambulk just came and went. My fellow Ohioans know that Puxatawny Phil seems to be a liar because saw the weather from now to Tuesday, and it looks like we're actually going to be getting spring weather. Not complaining at all. Nope. So let's do a collective for spring and see what we can do to encourage some new beginnings in our life and how to, kind of navigate them a little bit. So we can, well, that was a story all in itself because we've got one. These two were actually stacked together like so, but we've got three and a card that came up upside down for me actually, which means that that's telling me that that's a hidden energy that we're not going to notice right off the get-go, making it a solid 4. So here's what I'm seeing now for all of us when it comes to getting that new beginning spring energy rocking in our lives. It looks like, and I have to say, not shocked, even a little bit. I wish I was. But we've got a reverse chariot. So this is telling me that more than likely, we're going to be on our own way a lot. Quite literally, we're going to be spinning our wheels, but not making any progress. And a lot of that has to do with these two babies right here. We have a reverse King of Coins and a reverse High Priestess. So between the two of these, we got a lot of junk going on, all right? This King of Coins in reverse is telling me we're not going to be managing stuff properly at all. We are literally going to be thinking we've got money when we don't. We're going to be thinking that we totally have a loaf of bread at home, only to find out, yeah, we should have picked that up while we were at the grocery store. All kinds of mismanagement everywhere. It's going to suck. And add in that we're going to be turning off our intuition or just plain out not listening to it, or our spirit guides are going to be giving us billboards, and we're not going to see them. So knowing this right now is actually excellent. Why? Because now that we know that we're going to be getting in our own way with the mismanagement and the not listening to our intuition, we're going to know to start paying attention to it. But remember me saying that there was a 4th card? This guy right here, whereas those 3 came up all beautiful and face up and let me know how the story's going to rock, this is going to be our hidden element. This is going to be the thing that we're going to be unfortunately not paying attention to at all, and it's probably going to bite us harder in the you know where than our mismanagement and our lack of intuition. And the drum roll, please. It's all across the board reverse, guys. Reverse 2 of coins. That is a lot of imbalance rocking on there. This could be an imbalance between your personal and your work life. This could be you spending too much time with your friends and not enough time with your family. These imbalances need checked into and noticed, because this is going to be the root cause of all that junk that we just talked about. So let's make a bit of a pact, shall we? Over the next few weeks, before Astara comes in March, only a couple weeks away, guys, and actually, if you think about it, just short of a month away, because Astara, I believe, falls on March 21st this year, 20th, 21st area. That spring equinox is all about getting that new energy and using it. But it's also about balance. So might be also another thing that you might want to pay attention to is, where are all of your imbalances at? Pay attention to the one that's really kicking you and the thing that hits you the most in the gut, because that's where you need to turn it from a crash course to hell into a beautifully balanced as possible, because look at the lives we live right now. Because once we figure this out and get it all nice and pretty and upright again, have the balance in our lives between work and family, between friends and our responsibilities, whatever those imbalances are for you, then all of these are also going to turn into some momentum forward, better management, and our spirit guides are going to say, thank you for finally listening. It's a thing. And I guess scammers don't listen to business hours. So if you heard the little buzzing, I apologize. But as you can see from the background, tarot readers are pretty much like anybody else, and most assuredly when they're also a mom. There are the handy dandy calendar to let everybody know what's going on, and it actually is color coded because, and actually directly behind me is my deity altar that all of us in the house have used at least once to cover our tails, along with my work desk. And all the way over there, you're going to see all kinds of art supplies, office supplies, all kinds of fun things just to help keep my, along with being a tarot reader, solopreneur self chugging along. And can you think of a better place for a deity altar than right where I work, where I can look them dead in the eye and say, please help? Now, I also mentioned how my Oracle deck, once I combine the two, actually works out really great together. Let's see if we can't show that off a little bit, because that is always fun. So we know from the previous collective that I just did about how to really use those spring energies. Well, we found out that we're actually getting a warning, right? So with that hidden root cause being those imbalances in our lives, let's see how with my Oracle deck, how we can't kind of combat those weird imbalances now, because I don't know about you, but working for myself and being a mom, tell me where there is balance in an actual sense. I mean, really, right? And I'm sure that a lot of you are definitely in a similar boat. So, again, let's see how we can't tackle those imbalances now so that we can be absolutely awesome when real spring hits for those of us in the northern hemisphere. Those of you in the southern, if your winter ends up being anything like ours has been, I apologize in advance. Okay, so there's one. Let's see if we can't get a cup. No. Sneaky deaky. So this came up looking like there was only maybe two, but in reality, again, we've got kind of a whole thing going on here. So got 4 cards here, and our main card that I really wanted a little bit of extra insight on before I got rolling, because my gut told me this would be saying, clarity, please. So we've got a reverse butterfly gloom. And typically her message would be, after sadness, happiness, and hope return. So it definitely looks like the root cause of our imbalances are actually our emotions that are completely unbalanced and causing all that train wreck. And it always just the simplest, stupid things. So, luckily, I actually probably could have skipped the clarifier cards for that one. But you know what? Because I still already pulled them, let's see what they've got to say as far as how to combat that imbalance of our emotions. Because it looks like, you know what? We're just going to be still in a bit of a moat mode. And honestly, can anyone really blame us? Between the crazy post-holiday blues, everyone gets seasonal affective to some degree or another. I don't care who says what. We all get a little depressed around this area. It just depends on the degree. So it really does, feel like this spring is never going to come, which makes it that much harder to absorb that idea that, hey, new beginnings are coming. Warmer weather is coming. How can we combat this? Let's see what these guys have to tell us. So we've got a full moon, surrender to the divine. So I mentioned how I speak with my deities a lot. When's the last time that you talked to your higher power or source or spirit guides or whoever you work with, most respectively? Have they been trying to give you little hints now? Or have you been trying to connect with them and trying to actually hear their wisdom instead of just asking for stuff? We also have a reverse south node. Typically that message is, don't let your past hold you back. So this is telling me that in this case, Your past is where the answer is on why you're feeling junky, which is causing all those imbalances. So, what happened in your past? Did a breakup happen over the holidays? I feel your pain. Never a great time for that. Did you lose your job? What in your past have you not quite healed from? And it could be even a further past. Something that you might want to dig into is what in your past are you still holding on to that is causing you to still feel like you're worthless or that you don't deserve a happy ending? Our next little helper is Little Wolf Girl. It is all right to be alone. So, that tells me, have we been trying to just dive into every social situation we can to avoid that thing from our past? Or are, instead of jumping from social situation to social situation, are you jumping from situationship to situationship? No judgment, but it's obviously not helping because you probably feel 10 times lonelier than what you did before you found the most recent situationship. And last but not least, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. If, you've been listening to the words coming out of my mouth, been paying attention to those little signals that are ringing in your head as I've been reading off these cards, full moon in Cancer. A personal issue reaches resolution. So that tells me, should you, have been listening and listen not just to my words, but to the bells ringing in your head with those words, if you choose to actually start paying attention to it and start working on it now, it will resolve itself. Things will start to change. Things will start to look brighter. So if I were you, my dear, I'd be checking out what happened in my past and taking a deeper dive into it. And since that was a collective reading, if that helped any of you at all, please feel free to leave a like, comment awesome, because I love hearing how these readings actually help you guys out. Seeing the likes and the comments in my daily tarot definitely is, just, it's a warming sensation that I thoroughly enjoy, just knowing that I am doing one of the things that I've always wanted to do, which is just help people be their best selves, level up. Because, yeah, we kind of do every birthday. I mean, hey, some of us are level 24, some of us are level 37, others of you are probably level 56. And I'm jealous of you level 56ers because you seem to have more energy than the rest of us, for one. And for two, the things you learned if you chose to use time right. Like, I love hearing some of the stories of people that are slightly older than myself and up. Best conversations in the world, and you get the best lessons. So if you're like me in your mid-30s or lower, I know that sometimes those stories probably drive you nuts, but pay attention, because quite honestly, I've learned some of my best lessons without making that mistake from those people. All right, so we're at about the 20-minute mark. And hopefully in that time that I did that collective, you saw what you get for a lot of time, but at the same time, so much information. Ugh. And actually, you know what? Now's also a great moment that if you're anywhere in the state of Ohio or within driving distance of a couple of these cities, some places to check into while I am out and about in the world is I've got a event on April 11th in Central Ohio. Love psychic fairs. Most fun thing ever. I'll be offering readings there for 15 minutes and probably even a half hour for depending on my energy levels. But there's also going to be some great healers and some great vendors there. And the very next weekend in Girard, Ohio, is actually a 2-day psychic fair. And if you guys would like some information on that, jump over to my Facebook page. A lot of it's going to be right there. Or you can also join the Patreon, where I'll be posting a pretty much live set post of every place of where I'm going to be, what the dates are, and the location. But actually, something way more closer than April. So, do you have a sweet pea that you are absolutely gaga over, or are you in the way of looking for love? On Valentine's Day, I'm actually going to be in Logan, Ohio at the Full Moon and Crow. If you're anywhere near Logan, Ohio during that day, definitely swing by. I'll be offering all sorts of love readings that day at a discounted price, because typically my 15 minutes are 25 and my half hours are 40. But as my Valentine's Day gift to everybody, because, I'm a sucker for a happy ending, I'll admit it. But I'll be there offering tarot, oracle, and bamboo readings. So definitely get a hold of me, Facebook, Instagram, whichever one you plan on using the most often in your life. Send me a direct message. You can find me at SamCC, or find links in the bio. And next week, I haven't made the post yet, but for those that can't hit me up in Logan, because hey, I get it. Either you're not in Ohio or it's just not convenient for you to go. Life happens, bro. But for the 12th and 13th, I'll also be offering readings for singles and couples on a in-person or virtual basis. And the details will be coming up Friday. Had to think about when I was planning on putting it up there, because, you don't want to put things up too soon or too late. It gets ugly. But also in Logan, Ohio, if it happens to be within your area range, I'm going to be also offering tarot classes to help you learn how to practically read these little suckers without the headache, the stress, and most importantly, without the myths. And all of the details for that on signing up. And if you don't have a tarot deck, we've already got you. But all the information for the tarot classes is on the Facebook page. It's a 6-class series. If you've never read tarot but have always wanted to, or if it's time to kind of brush the cobwebs off and you just like a quick refresher, definitely feel free to come see us. I'll be giving handouts and a cute little gift with every class. But we still have bugger mental math. Don't like to do it. But let's do another collective. Actually, you know what? We will do something even more fun, okay? So what we will do is, whoever is the 5th person to either join the live or watch the replay, if you are the 5th person, this is what you need to definitely jump on doing before spring is in full swing. So before we're fully thawed from winter, before we're seeing all the adorable animals, before all the flowers are blooming, let's see what you need to address. And this is again for the 5th person to join the live, or for the 5th person to join the replay, whichever one you end up being. I love when they jump out like that. So for the 5th person to join the live, or the 5th person to watch the replay, this guy came up face up. This is what you need to pay attention to. But this came up face down, and it's the root cause. And my goodness, it's time to address all of those things that have been making you feel small, that you feel like you can't overcome, those issues that just look terrifying. And I hate to say it, but it seems like something in your relationship. Okay? Because wherever you're lacking this backbone, this strength to jump over these obstacles and know that you'll succeed and know that things will be badass after, reverse Knight of Cups. This is why I'm saying I feel like this might be in your relationship, because whenever I see a Knight of Cups, more often than not, this is your ultimate partner when it's like this. This is the person that is just essentially everything you could ever want and need. But we came up upside down. So this person probably at the start seemed absolutely amazing. They probably seemed wonderful. They seemed like a dream come true. Only to end up being not so much. And you're probably starting to see that they might be controlling, that they might be narcissistic, that they're lazy. Whatever the case may be, you're seeing this person not as awesome as they used to be, even though they came off across as that. And you're probably afraid of either talking about the changes you've noticed, or you're afraid of talking about the lack of shared responsibilities. Whatever it is that this person started noticeably changing on, and definitely not for the best. I know it sounds scary. I know that it sounds absolutely terrifying, but you need to address it before spring is in full bloom if you're going to see any change in your 2026. And I don't mean just on an emotional or spiritual level. I mean across the board. You'll be stagnant. You'll be stuck spinning your wheels and wondering what to do. Worry about this. Worry about the fact that this person is not nearly as cool as they used to be, and that you're terrified of addressing it. Turn this into a this so that these issues can go out the window. Help me help you. Sorry, nifty song. Noon of the Solstice by Dom the Bard. I thought it sounded familiar, but it was tickling the ears a little. Okay, so we've seen what we can do with a couple of longer reads. You know what? Still a half hour to go. Let's do a yes no. And being an oddball, I like odd numbers. So this is for the third person to join the live, and or the third person to watch the replay. Third person to watch the live or the replay. I want you to think of a yes or no question. And let's see what we've got. All right, so it looks like actually either you guys didn't think of a question, or it is supposed to be like this, because it came out as a solid maybe, okay? When it's sideways like this, that tells me it's not necessarily yes and not necessarily no. But here's why. If you were thinking of a yes-no question, it was about a person, more than likely this person is amazing at their creativity. They're energetic. They are the life of the party. But they occasionally get a little tongue-tied if they're too excited or anxious, or worse, they get critical. Nasty critical. Think Mean Girl times 10 critical. Whatever your question was for your yes, no, it's a solid maybe. And if you weren't thinking of a yes, no, and you are the third person to join the live or the third person to watch the replay, I'm sorry if I call out your personality just a little bit there. It's never intentional, but we all know if you've ever had a card reading, things can occasionally get a little personal. And if you've ever had a reading from me and it was either at a psychic fair or when I had my store, you know there's no filter. I will tell you exactly what the card is telling me. So, sorry. Typically don't mean to call people out in public, but things happen. But you know what? Because I might have thrown somebody under the bus a little bit, and I feel a little bad, I'll throw myself under the bus a little bit, and I will think of a situation that I'm going through right now, and I will use my Oracle deck because when it comes to personal questions, I don't like to use my people deck because it comes out a little weird. Things I'll be talking about in the tarot classes on why certain decks should be used for certain things. But I found that this Oracle deck actually does nicely for both people and personal. So I'm going to think of a situation I'm going through right now, and I'm going to ask it the root cause so I know where to start trying to fix it, what's going to help me with that issue, and what's going to hinder me. And you're welcome to comment what kind of a situation you think that I'm asking. Because I will definitely, because I threw one guy under the bus, I'll throw myself underneath and share the entire reading. So what's the thing mostly hindering me? Oh. Well, we've got my root cause. Let's see what's going to help me with it. And I had cards go everywhere. And let's see what's going to hinder me. And of course, that just gave me a single card. Now, if you caught me earlier when I mentioned that this is actually a combined Oracle deck of Shapeshifter and Moonology, it does happen on occasion where the reading comes out strictly as one or strictly as the other, because that's how whatever force it is, whether it's my spirit guides, my deities, whoever decides to spit out the cards. So the root cause of my issue, I have a reverse balsamic moon. Typically, that message would be a time for healing. So it definitely looks like the root cause is that there has been no healing. There has been no actual working to make things more pleasant, I guess is the best way to describe it, without giving it away. Now, the things that are going to help me with that situation that I haven't exactly seem to have actually started to make heal, which is entirely possible because, you think that you're doing one thing that's actually helping when in actuality it's either doing nothing or the total reverse. But the thing that's going to kind of help me ensure that I actually start working on that healing is I've got 3 cards. One is a reverse new moon in Scorpio. Typically, the message would be work through your fears. Obviously, not the case if it came out reverse. The next card is Gibbous Moon. You're very close to achieving your goal. And last but not least, reverse New Moon in Capricorn. Typically, the message is your hard work is paying off. Again, obviously not. So, rather ironic that I've actually got 2 new moons in reverse on my Helpy Helpers and a gibbous, which, if you know anything about gibbuses, they're when they're mostly full but not quite. So what I'm getting from this is that, one, I definitely need to hit my zodiac wheel because while I can list them, I cannot tell you which ones are the opposing one. Though if you want someone that's excellent with astrology, go to Willow Mystic Grace. Best astrologer I've ever ran into, and I had the pleasure of meeting her one time. She actually is just that fabulous in person. But obviously, with that reverse time of healing where I've been kind of neglecting on healing or haven't been doing the things that would actually heal the situation, all that hard work is just going to waste. And it definitely looks to be because of what's hindering me, but we'll get there. But instead of working through my fears, it looks like I just need to relax and let them run as they will. Actually, let them be a thing. Because I'm not going to lie, much like anyone else, I'd rather throw my fears into a box and kind of forget about them. Not necessarily let them run rampant, but looks like I need to finally just let them do their thing. Instead of working through them, just let my fears do whatever it is that they need to do to burn themselves out. But at least I know that good, bad, or indifferent, when it comes to a situation, I'm very close to achieving the end result I would like. But the thing that's going to hinder me, and one of the reasons why I'm quite sure that it's what's causing me to kind of play the spaghetti method with my hard work and kind of leave my fears anywhere but near me and not necessarily work through them, but not necessarily feel them. What's going to hinder me is we have another new moon, but this one's in Pisces. Meditate and contemplate. I can totally do that for every situation for anyone but myself. I will avoid myself like the plague. So, yeah, I can see how that would definitely be a hindrance for me. But definitely looks like I've got a bit of a timeline going on here because the reverse new moon in Scorpio and reverse new moon in Capricorn is telling me I need to look at a full moon, but the opposite of Scorpio and the opposite of Capricorn, as far as finding the best times to use magic if I would like to. And it definitely looks like new moon in Pisces might be a very helpful moon phase for me in the very near future. So, am I shocked? Not really. Because, yeah, avoidance problems when it comes to my own issues is definitely a thing. And don't mind me. I recently retied my hair, and when I put my pens back in, Apparently, I tied my hair a little too tight. But hopefully, that little bit of sharing helped whoever is our third person joining the live or third person watching the replay feel a little better. I will never throw somebody under the bus, whether intentional or accidental, without returning the favor and throwing myself right along with you. Oh, Sinatra. Yeah, I got a bit of a wide music variety I listen to. If you ever spend a half hour in a car with me and just let me let my Pandora go, you'll be very sure there's at least 5 people in the car with you, and it's just me and you. But you know what? We're at the 41-minute mark. I really do hope that whoever watches the replay has enjoyed this fun little session. I know it's not exactly, all the bells and whistles, but still entertaining and still something to learn from. But I think I'm going to close this out with one more collective reading. And this one is going to be... You know what? Because tonight's video, as far as teaching healthy romantic relationships and encouraging self-love to be more of a thing, tonight's video is actually on helping love seekers be able to attract aligned love and help couples encourage a more aligned love in their relationship. So, that being said, we will do a quick Valentine's Day reading, one for our singles and one for our couples as far as a collective. And for our singles, even though I heavily encourage avoiding trying to find a new relationship close to Valentine's Day, lots of reasons. The big one being just, I'm always worried about people rushing into a situationship before realizing if this person is actually really good for them, or if they might have found a sheer toad. So, for our singles, let's see if you are going to find a solid partner, whatever that means for you. See if you can't find a solid partner, not necessarily a forever partner or for right now, but a solid partner to kind of share the load and a few laughs along the way before June. Okay. So let's see what extras we can't find. All right. So I did a yes, no, obviously, and I drew a few cards on the why or why not. Now, this came up sideways. So this is definitely a solid maybe because you are seeing clearly of the situation that you're in as far as the dating pool, where you're at in your own healing process and or life. But you're also kind of missing a few details because you're either going too fast in life, going too fast with people, or just trying to find any way to skip the not so comfortable truths that you don't want to deal with. I don't blame you. Why do I say that? because these two cards right here. We've got a Two of Swords and a Reverse Temperance. So you're definitely fighting the go with the flow idea and trying to find that nice tranquility in your life, that nice balance between where you want to go versus where you need to go. And a lot of that's causing actually a lot of conflict between you and another person. And I want to say that this might be a best friend or someone that's very well meaning on trying to help you see those uncomfortable details that you don't want to deal with. And again, I don't blame you. No one likes to deal with those extra details. I know I don't. But they're trying to tell you something for a reason. Try to listen with a slightly more open mind and see how much it's actually going with where you should be going versus where you think you need to go. I know it's not great, but it is what it is. Now for our couples, let's see what's one way that you can deepen the connection with your partner tonight. Or at least sometime soon. When's your next date night? And if you don't have one, schedule one. You should never stop dating your partner. And that is a direct quote from pretty much every successful old lady and old man that I've ever asked about their marriages. Never stop dating your partner. That's always been their number one, if not number two advice. But how can you deepen the relationship with your partner? And let's see how we can help with that one. All right. So, I'm sorry. I'm throwing a lot of you under the bus already, again. But to help improve your relationship and make it a little bit better for both of you, you got to address that lack of teamwork. Either you're doing too much and just letting them skate, or it's the other way around. They are doing everything for you, and could you at least take out the trash? Now, the thing to add on to this to kind of help you figure out this lack of teamwork. We've got a reverse 7 of Cups and an upright 8 of Swords. So the fear is definitely a fear box that is definitely been structured around you. And I get it. I do, because you're seeing things really clearly. And it's good that you're seeing things so clearly, but you might want to address this fear factor right here, because if all these things that you're seeing and you're realizing that that's the reality and it's scaring the crap out of you, why? Why is it scaring you so much that it's causing a lack of teamwork, a lack of ability to get things done together? What's going on? But for either the collective readings or the ones I picked on a little bit, if any of you would like a more in-depth reading for those, excuse me, for those cards and those readings, definitely get a hold of me on either Facebook or Instagram, direct messenger. And also please be specific on which one we're talking here. Any collective readings from this live, excuse me, any collective readings from this live or the ones I picked on a little bit, along with being specific on which one so that I know which one I'm pulling the extra cards for, I'll be offering $10 10 minutes. Be sure to mention that. And also, do me a favor and, like I said, be specific. Because you'd be amazed on how often it happens that someone's like, you know that reading you did on me on blah, blah, blah? And I'm thinking, Do you know how many readings I do in a day? I make it a point to brain dump all of them because I want to be better than HIPAA on your privacy. But anyway, have a great night, everyone. I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow for the Daily Tarot. And remember, spring is coming. New energies are coming. Seasonal affective does not last forever. And you are awesome. I'll talk to all of you again soon.